Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining me for this event preview for AWS reInvent happening in Las Vegas starting tomorrow, October 5th, I think. Sorry, I'm still trying to get the video jingle of Constellation done together in the same run, so hopefully it worked better than last week at GE. But no further ado, let's look at what probably I think AWS will have in store and what AWS should address. So it's the main event for cloud in general. We can say that clearly both from an attendee perspective, from the existing infrastructure as a revenue service, which pegs Amazon beyond the 5 billion something, going towards 6 billion. And it's probably the most bustling show floor for any event out there related to cloud, right? It's only comparable to probably VMware in terms of presence of startups, traditional vendors, everybody trying to get a piece from the overall pie. There's going to be a ton of announcements. I got pre-briefed on some of them. Sorry, I don't want to be a teaser here, but some really big, interesting things coming out of the ecosystem at this AWS reInvent 2015. And AWS itself usually has a number of surprises, right? 2 years ago, I at least was surprised about AWS announcing a real-time streaming service, Kinesis. Why would they be in that business? Well, it's good utilization for their existing cloud infrastructure. There wasn't so much update of Kinesis, I would say, in the last 2 years, or until last year, 2014, when I asked about this. So this will definitely be an area where I have to check with AWS, how are things going with Kinesis, who are the uptakes, what are the use cases. I mean, the use case is clear, but who are the customers using that? And then additionally, Workspace was a surprise. Nice always for me when my two research areas come together. In this case, next generation applications, so I'm at AWS reInvent, but the way how we work, when we work, how we work, coming together in future of work, and Workspace as a virtual desktop offering is a key interesting part. So I always like it when these two parts come together. Definitely last year Lambda was the big surprise, and with that the move from making the storage capabilities that AWS has, and sorry, I was trying to do this open window and you might hear the jet living in San Diego in the background, so sorry for potentially bad noise here, but this is all live. So Lambda was interesting because AWS is making this application server bigger. But it's more than just a storage piece. It's becoming an application server, being able to run certain pieces of code on top of the data. So following this general principle of data gravity, which is important for many next generation applications, prominently mostly in IoT, Internet of Things scenarios, where there's so much data, you have to move the code to the data. You can't move the data to the code. So it will be interesting if anything similar like Lambda, what's the Greek alphabet after Lambda? Mu, I believe, for M, should know, is coming there. So there will be additional service of this, and then, of course, the uptake of Lambda. I think Amazon undersold it to a certain point last year with all the examples, which I saw again at AWS Summit in San Francisco and AWS Summit in Berlin earlier this year, always talking about this media conversion part, which by itself I think has a use case, of course, otherwise Amazon wouldn't be speaking about it. But there's so many more enterprise, Internet of Things, social sensing things about somebody who's never touched, went to your website, and after 3 years they go interesting for doing something. That's a great thing for Lambda-like service to wake. Then, of course, Amazon will announce some new instances. I'm pretty sure they've always done this. Is only me guessing, but I will think they will be in the heavy compute, heavy in-memory pieces. Probably there's going to be more flash pieces. Amazon usually likes to bring new instances in at reInvent, and with that, usually there's some price reductions. Last year was the first Amazon reInvent where there were no price reductions. Amazon usually prides themselves of having done so many price reductions since their very inception, giving away those savings. Let's see if they have some price reductions coming at this AWS reInvent. And then I talked about this at AWS Summit in Berlin. It's interesting. Amazon is this general offering of kind of like a toolbox, right? And one of the major use cases, again, coming up here is Internet of Things. and people are, it might be, there were so many announcements last week that something could be coming in that area. But again, speculation from my side. But it leads also to my concluding topic, where I think Amazon needs to become more of a platform, right? Amazon is the darling of developers. Developers want to glue all these little things together. No question about that. Very interesting for your resume, very interesting from a technology perspective to play with these new technologies, but always a concern for somebody who has to develop a project in a certain point. This is in general independent of AWS, right? And customers of us building next generation application projects, looking at microservices, it's something interesting, but something which more than 2/3 of them don't touch because of fear that the technology is not proven, and the technology is not ripe and mature, and they don't want to endanger their delivery timelines and budgets with that. So, and I think along those same lines, Amazon has to become more of a platform. Can't be this loose collection of everything else, a Switzerland of infrastructure as a service in the cloud, but has to make some more strategic assumptions regarding their technology stack, and with that create more dependencies, like Lambda as an example for that. Lambda will only run on AWS, nobody else. And I think in general that's okay, right? As long as the right bets are being made in these assumptions to build the cloud technology platform, which gives enterprises a jumpstart, right? And this might be the difference of Amazon learning more on NextJet's coming. Sorry about that. This might be Amazon learning more about what enterprise we need, who want to have ready-to-use platforms versus development tools, right? And the last but not least part to look at is going to be how much more ISV traction Amazon might be getting. The most prominent ISV and one of the earliest ones announced in spring of 2000, we get the year right, 2013, was Infor. Infor is betting their cloud infrastructure to run. Any customer of Infor wants to run on cloud has to run on Amazon. Infor, for those who are listening and saying who's Infor, is the third largest ERP vendor out there after SAP and Oracle. But this will be an exception, right? And much of the load, which right now is still on premise with SAP and Oracle, will have to move to the cloud. But customers intuitively know I probably will run my SAP application better and cheaper on the SAP cloud. And the same thing is valid for the Oracle cloud, right? As customers today run things or Salesforce on the Salesforce cloud and Workday on the Workday cloud, there's no revenue that really AWS sees from these customers. So AWS has to create something, get more to the ISVs, get more of that load, because much of that is running already from these other vendors might be moving away. That said, all event preview, a summary of what I've been seeing AWS doing so far. Something which AWS might be doing, all healthy speculation on my side, nothing official from AWS. Look forward to seeing Las Vegas. I will be there till Thursday. If you're there and want to say hi, contact me via Twitter or find me in any other way. Look forward to chat and hear about your experience at AWS. Thanks for watching.